We're here with Kim DeGrazio, our resident expert in Arches National Park. Kim was actually a park ranger for 3 years, so she has an incredible knowledge of arches. We're going to talk a little bit about the park itself and about the tours we offer. So, Kim, tell me, why would someone who's come to Moab Adventure Center want to go and experience Arches National Park?
Arches National Park is a geological wonder of the world. There's over 2,000 sandstone arches in the park, which is the highest concentration of natural arches in the world. A visitor to the park would be able to see many of those arches and other geological features along with the high desert ecology.
Why would someone want to experience a guided tour versus just driving into the park on their own?
So with a guided tour, you get some of the interpretation that you wouldn't be able to get to without the guided tour. There's interpretive signs throughout the park, but myself and the other guides are able to give a lot more information, and you don't have to look for parking spots. The guide is driving or the bus driver is driving, so the clients can just look around and enjoy the park without having to worry about finding parking and other traffic issues.
Which can be kind of stressful sometimes,
extremely
right?
stressful in the parks.
Often it's crowded. It's
Yeah.
one of the most popular place to visit here
Yep.
in Moab, Utah. And so often parking spaces are pretty sparse or non-existent.
Exactly, and then it can be dangerous to drive in national parks because people are just paying attention to the beauty around them, and so not having to worry about that and being able to look around yourself will give a more relaxing experience. And then there's a reservation system now. I think it's from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you go in with a commercial tour, you don't have to worry about getting a reservation.
Right, which can also be a little bit stressful. Sometimes people arrive here thinking, oh, just grab a reservation tomorrow.
Yeah.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
It's so full. Or you're stuck with the
Right.
time, like middle of the day, and that can be really hot.
Yeah, so it's a good option. And on the tours, we talk about the geology, the archaeology, the paleontology, and the ecology of the park. So you do get a lot more information than you otherwise would get.
Give me a description. We offer two different tours. There's the morning tour and the sunset tour.
Yeah.
Maybe let's start with the morning tour and just walk me through the general itinerary. So these tours meet at the Moab Adventure
Yes.
Center, and what happens after that?
So then it's about a 10-minute drive to get into the park. The first stop is going to be Park Avenue, which is just a viewpoint, but it's one of the most famous views in the park. There are no arches there, but we'll spend about 5 minutes there. We'll keep going on, and then we stop at Courthouse Towers, and again, just a viewpoint, but these are the tallest features in the park, between 400 and 500 feet tall. We'll keep driving. I generally stop at Balanced Rock next, and I give people the option, depending on their ability level, they can stay near the parking lot, they can walk up to the Balanced Rock, or they can walk around the whole thing, which is about a quarter mile. After that, we'll go to the Windows section. The Windows has both the Windows Trail and the Double Arch Trail. The Windows Trail is 3/4 of a mile, and it does have stairs on it, so again, some people do opt out of this one. And then the Double Arch Trail is a half a mile long.
Okay.
And if I always like to tell people, if they've seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusades, at the beginning of that movie, the scenes are at Park Avenue, Courthouse Towers, Balanced Rock, and Double Arch. So you'll be able to see all of those on that tour. From there, we'll go to Delicate Arch Viewpoint, and this is about a 100-foot flat walk to see Delicate Arch from a distance. And Delicate Arch is the most famous arch in the park because it's on the Utah license plate. We don't do the hard hike on these tours because it's 3 miles round trip, takes people at least 2 hours to do, and not everybody has the ability to do it. So we do skip that, and we just see it from the viewpoint. From there, we go to Sand Dune Arch. Sand Dune Arch is about a 1/3 of a mile round trip. It's relatively flat, but what makes it difficult is the sand to walk in. It's this really fine sand, but numerous visitors have told me that it was the favorite arch on the tour.
Wonderful. And that, for the morning tour, those are the primary sites that you're generally seeing, and then is it turn around and come back out of the park at that point?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
And from there back to the Adventure Center, about how long is the drive?
It's about a 45-minute drive from Sand Dune Arch all the way back. Now, sometimes I'll skip like Balanced Rock if I feel like the group might get antsy with that long of a drive back, and I'll do Balanced Rock on the way back.
Got it, to break it up a little
Just
bit.
to break it up,
Sure.
yeah.
And in terms of how, you mentioned the distance, the stairs, how would you kind of rate those hikes or walks in terms of their, like if someone is a little bit unsure, can I do this? Is it for me?
Yeah.
How would
so
you help
on the
them know?
park map, all the trails that we do are rated easy. Now, I do have some people opt out of doing the trails, and I'll, describe them before we go on and give them the option to stay near the parking area and just enjoy the views, because the parking lots are beautiful. Like, they have the most spectacular views of any parking lot you can be at. So I do have some people opt out, like of sand dune arch because the sand, or they'll opt out of double arch because you can see it from the parking lot, or they'll opt out of the windows trail because of the stairs. It's a total of a little under 2 miles, but that's broken up over all of those trails over that 4-hour period. So most people are able to do it, and we give it people plenty of time. So we take it slow.
And while they're on the bus, is that where they're kind of learning about, or describing the areas, what they're seeing out the window and so forth?
If people end up staying behind, I make sure to cover all the material with them if I add anything on the trails with the other people, because people will ask questions as I'm hiking with them, and I'll remember those answers that I give and tell the people who stay closer to the parking lots.
Perfect. In terms of pickup, so people meet at the Moab Adventure Center. Do we offer shuttles to those staying in the downtown campgrounds and hotels?
Yes, we do. So people who are working the front desk generally go and pick them up, and then if it's a sunset tour, I will drop them off before going home. But if it's like a morning tour, I drop them back off at the Adventure Center, and then people get shuttled back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Yep. Kim, how should someone dress for the morning Arches tour?
They should check the weather, because mornings are generally cooler than the evening tours, but it can still be really hot by the time the tours get out at 11 to noon. It can be getting close to 100 degrees. So, sunscreen, hats, breathable clothes, whatever they need to keep themselves cool in that temperature.
And what kind of footwear would you say?
Generally, like if they wear sandals, they should be like hiking sandals, like chacos, things like that, as long as they feel comfortable on uneven surfaces. So I generally suggest, boots or tennis shoes.
Okay. And as far as clothing, it sounds like with the temperatures, maybe layering is a good idea, so at least you can, maybe shed that outer layer. When it's cooler in the morning, you're going to wear it, and then shed that outer layer when it heats up.
Exactly.
And what about snacks? Do we provide anything on the tour?
We do provide snacks. They get a water bottle when they're at the Adventure Center, or if we pick them up, we give it to them then, and we have a cooler. The snacks aren't going to be a full meal, so if they need anything additional, they should bring that. And they can let us know any allergies beforehand.
Okay. So with the morning tour leaving fairly early, would we suggest to guests that they should eat breakfast before coming?
Definitely eat breakfast beforehand, but we get done around lunchtime or a little before lunchtime, so most people are okay with just the snacks we provide.
Let's talk a little bit about the sunset tour. How does that differ from what you've described with the morning tour?
So the sunset tour is going to be essentially the same, except the order. We're going to put the window section at the very end. We end up watching sunset, at North Window. And then they should think about it being over dinner time. So the sunset tours, the latest they start in the summer is at 5:30 p.m. So we won't get done until about 9:30 to 10 p.m. We do provide the snacks, but that's generally not enough if the last time you ate was at lunchtime. So we do suggest, eat beforehand at least something.
Okay. And then as far as hikes and so forth on the sunset or some of the walks, the same thing applies. It's just perhaps a little different.
Same thing applies. It can be hotter in the evenings in the summer. The evenings stay hot. The rocks have heated up all day and radiate that heat. So heat is a factor to consider more in the evenings than in the morning. So that means stay hydrated. There are bathrooms throughout the park, and so sometimes I'll add balance rock right before the windows section, because Park Avenue, Courthouse Towers, and Balance Rock don't have bathrooms. Every other stop does, and I'd rather have people stay hydrated and have bathrooms if they need it than to be scared to drink water for lack of bathrooms.
So we've talked about how people should dress. Anything you'd suggest they bring with them, besides obviously the water bottle that they're already given?
Just, water, food, any medications they need. letting the guide know if there's anything we should be considering.
Maybe their sunscreen if they want to reapply.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And guests should also know that we don't have cell phone signal for the majority of the tour. So if they need to be contacting people, it's not a great tour to be on.
Okay. So cell phone's great for pictures,
Yeah,
but not
exactly,
for calls.
exactly. It's not a photography tour. Yeah.
There is time to take pictures, but don't
Of
plan on the
course.
whole tour waiting for you while
Yeah,
you're trying
we
to
have
set
to
up
keep a
perfect shot.
steady pace
Sure.
on a lot of these. Now we are not like rushing or anything. We are probably going at 45 minutes a mile, but that's not enough time if you're really trying to get that perfect shot.
Yeah. Kim, tell me a little bit about group size. What should people expect?
So groups can range from anywhere from 3 people to up to 50 people. 50 people is really rare and 3 people is really rare. The average we get is between 10 and 20 people. So with the various sizes of groups, we'll take anything from a van to a medium-sized bus to a very large bus.
And those buses have air conditioning?
They do. Yep, they have air conditioning. They have very large windows. So people will be able to see the same thing, whether we're in a van or a big bus, and they'll get the same experience and the same information.
Do you feel like the group size impacts the quality of the experience in any way?
I do not, no. Sometimes like in smaller groups, when we're walking, I'll give more information then. But with like a very large group, I'll give most of the information on the bus so that everyone gets the same information, no matter if they're in a 3-person tour or a 50-person tour.
Love that. Well, Kim, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That
Yeah.
has been a wonderful overview of Arches National Park. Hopefully everything you need to know about coming into the park on a tour with Moab Adventure Center.